Mark Cuban apologizes to Jalen. All right, and we'll play the clip right here. Mark Cuban was on a podcast reminiscing about Jalen Brunson's time with the Dallas Mavericks, what coulda, shoulda been, them letting go of Jalen Brunson, getting in Kyrie Irving. Was it a mistake? Was it not? That's also been a thing that we've discussed on this pod a pretty decent amount. So maybe this is the thing that puts a nail in the coffin in that discussion of did Mark Cuban really make a mistake or not?
But I really did. But it didn't, and that's okay. All's well that ends well. I'm happy for you, the king of New York, and I'm happy for us. It is what it is. That's the NBA.
Yeah. The only thing that I didn't like about the whole situation was when Mark said when the parents got involved, that's when things got messy. So that was the one thing I was like, I kind of was like, that was a little jab. But
it wasn't really. No, I didn't want to go there here, right? It wasn't a jab at all.
Oh.
I mean, there's no reason for us to talk about any of that stuff, but it wasn't just a jab, JB, for real.
I know. I'm just saying. Well, that's when I heard that. That's what maybe I felt a little certain way, but I got over it. Obviously, that's my parents, and so.
And I apologize. I think put you in a certain way. That wasn't the intention, but it was hard to deal with. It was unique. It was a unique negotiation in a lot of different ways.
I would say it's the same negotiation that we just went through with Isaiah. I would say it's pretty similar.
In some respects, yeah. I'm sure it was. I mean, I don't know the details, but yeah, it may well be.
Yeah. But it's over and done with.
Yep.
We're here now, and that's it.
And I'm happy. Literally, I'm happy for it. I mean, like when you got married, like we still keep in touch. I'm always sending you congrats and this and that.
Yep.
So there's definitely no hard feelings at all. But it's always interesting when your dad and I walk by each other. It's just like he gives me the eye, I give him the eye, then we smile and then keep on walking, right? And so, yeah, all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
Look at JB's face. Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. How big of a mistake did Mark Cuban really make here?
Can I take my lap?
Go ahead, man.
Can I take my lap? I've been taking a lot of laps this year, and people aren't noticing, but the noticer notices. Y'all were delusional. Y'all tried to tell me that Kyrie was the better player, that it wasn't a mistake, that it wasn't this, that it wasn't that it wasn't the third, that it wasn't X, that it wasn't Y, that it wasn't Z. And sometimes when I put a take out there, I got to sit on my hands. But trust me, there's going to be a day where I have to get off my hands. Not only on the court did we see that it was a mistake and that they actually should have kept Jalen Brunson. I don't want to hear about all that. Oh, well, play styles and shut the hell up. Don't want to hear that. Okay? So not only did we see it on the court, but behind the scenes for the past 3 months, it seems like, well, we're in September now. It's been more than 3 months. Damn near for the past year of 2024, we have seen Mark Cuban go on this tour of basically saying, yeah, we regretted not getting Jalen Brunson, especially for the money. I think that's what people forget all the time when I had that talking point is the fact that play style is one thing, but the main thing was the money. And that nigga Jalen Brunson still doesn't like Mark Cuban. He's an interesting man. He's an interesting guy.
Real quick before Damo goes, this is another tweet brought up. Jalen Brunson says the Mavs rejected a 4-year, $55 million extension twice. He's now making nearly double that in New York.
When you read stuff, it doesn't always do it justice. Because I read that Mark Cuban, Jalen Brunson thing, the interaction, and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool to talk about. Hearing how it came out with the whole interaction. It wasn't awkward. It was same thing that y'all just went through with Isaiah, right? Yeah. So it happens all the time.
Okay.
That was a nasty interaction. I could definitely tell JB definitely feels some type of way about it in general, and that comment definitely isn't something he can say he got over it. Maybe he got over it enough to have a conversation with Mark, but that still sits wrong with him. You can tell by his face when the whole clip ended. He was over it. Super nasty work by Mark Cuban. Super nasty work by Mark Cuban. In that situation, in my opinion, you just apologize. You're like, yeah, my fault. It shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have said that. trying to justify it. Oh, well, I didn't mean it like that. It just, if you took offense, that's crazy you took offense. That's insane to tell some, hey, you took offense to what I said? Hey, man, don't take it like that. What are you talking about? Like, nigga, just apologize. You said something about his family. Every time I see your dad, I look at him, he look at me. We ready to square up for real, but then we laugh because, it was money being made. Like, bro, stop. What are we talking about? Like, this is sick. And yeah, the Mavericks definitely messed up by not keeping Jalen Brunson, 100%. No one noticed. Well, I'm not gonna say no one. I'm gonna speak for myself. When he first left, I said, hey, let's see what he can do. I thought the Knicks overpaid a bit because, again, rejected 4 years, $55 million. I believe the first contract he signed with the Knicks was what, 4 years, $80 million?
Yeah, I think that was the offseason, Damo. They were supposed to get like Zion, KD, Kyrie, and then they landed with Jalen Brunson, and everyone was like, y'all dumbass thought y'all were getting a super team. You ended with Jalen Brunson, buddy.
With
Yeah,
80 mil for Jalen Brunson, the Mavs didn't even want to give him 55. And then Jalen Brunson blossomed. And it was like, oh, in one season, it went from to, hey, man, the Knicks is cooking with grease. They know something we don't. What's going on? Hey, the Knicks are cooking. So the Mavs are definitely in the wrong, and they definitely should feel 12 times the regret that they do feel.
Let me ask you. Go ahead. Get your point off.
Let me say this. I saw somebody in the chat say, "Oh, well, if they sign Jalen Brunson and not Kyrie, they don't get Derek Lively." I love Derek Lively to death, man. Good kid. Shouts out to him. Rest in peace to his mom. Man, we don't give a fuck about that. I'm sorry. 4 years, $55 million is so cheap of money. We can get we could get a Derek Lively. We can also get somebody else that's on a higher caliber level, superstar, whatever you want to say, to also come in here to play with Luka and Jalen Brunson. And I know all things happen for a reason or whatever the case may be. There's no way to say this, but I'm betting with the money that they save from signing JB to that type of deal, and he takes another pay cut because he just took a pay cut for New York, they can build so much of a better team. Oh my God!
They could have been replaced Dwight Powell. Like, what are we talking about? That alone,
come on, bro.
The money they saved could have went to the replacement of Dwight Powell. Like, what are we talking about?
Now, I do want to ask y'all, and I feel like I already kind of know y'all answer, but fuck it. So the Dallas Mavericks last season were obviously championship contenders and made it all the way to the finals. The way they played the second half of the season, they were championship contenders going into the playoffs. This upcoming season, they are still championship contenders. Out in the West. My question to y'all is kind of similar to what happened in Golden State. If the Dallas Mavericks do happen to pull off a championship in the next year or two, maybe even 3, do we take back these, y'all made a mistake not re-signing Jalen Brunson takes, or would it still be a mistake in y'all book, even if they get a ring?
It will only be a mistake if Kyrie, I will only take back the, oh man, yeah, I made a mistake if Kyrie goes out and averages 45 and they win a chip. Like, Kyrie has to defy the laws of physics. Like, he has to do things that are literally out of this world for me to say, y'all made a mistake. They can still win, and I say, y'all could have won 2 years ago. You could have won sooner had you just kept this man and built better. So, no.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to stay consistent on this one. I'm not a results-based guy. There's so much that goes into it. So win a ring, don't win a ring, that doesn't necessarily matter. If we're just talking about from a strategy perspective, to get a guy on the caliber of Jalen Brunson, and I got to look back at, when things happened or whatever the case may be. We can even pull up his contract now. We're talking about $12.5 million a year for a guy that was second team arguments for first team. Was he first team All NBA? He wasn't first team.
He wasn't, but everyone was like, he should have made it over.
He should have been second. He should have been first team All NBA. A guy that averaged 29 and some change points. There's no way that I could think getting a guy like that for $12.5 million, and then on the next contract he's willing to take a pay cut. He took a pay cut for the Knicks. I can only imagine what type of pay cut he would take for, that team. And then I'm going to be really nasty here, but the Villanova boys have always wanted to play together. What if he brings the Villanova boys to Dallas to play with Luka Doncic?
Insane.
That's a mind-blowing concept. So, yeah, you can say whatever you want if they win a ring or whatever the case may be. But I think the Villanova boys plus Luka Doncic insert a center. Man, we've got a team that has years. That's a team that I would put up against the 5 from like OKC for a long time, and I would say that they're better. Like that's a crazy team to even think about right now.
Yeah. And I just want to say, in the words of Sage, before commenter 297 says, well, actually, they wouldn't be able to do that because of the money. They were able to build the Villanova boys on the Knicks while keeping Julius Randle. It would have been possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, because at this point in Luka's career, this is not a. Because I even had to take with like the Spurs. Wow. Man, we don't have to build this championship contender by year 2. Like, give him time. I'm sorry, that's not the case with Luka. Luka is going into, what is this, year 7? He is 25 years old, so the time to start winning championships is like right now. And if we go back in history and hypothetically say like the Mavs truly wasted Luka's prime outside of that 1 year they went to the finals and then got dog walked, man, that Jalen Brunson is gonna look extremely bad,
real nasty.
All the Villanova boys, as I'm looking at it right now, are literally like 28. Luka's 25. Hold on, I can't look up Dante DiVincenzo for whatever reason. I spelled his name Fonte. Dante DiVincenzo is 27, but he'll be 28 in January. So they're all around 28. Luka's 25, a 3-year variance. You get a center in there. That just spells into the 30s we're building something. And again, these guys are willing to take pay cuts to play with each other. Add Luka Doncic, no income tax in that state. I just don't know why we're not talking about a team that rattles off more than 2 at that point. Could you imagine? I don't know what that looks like, but just my dick is getting a little hard just thinking about it.
One might say a super team. I do want to bring this up from Sean in the chat. He says, true, if Brunson stays, how do we know he's going to turn into the player he did with the Knicks, especially behind Luka? Even if Brunson doesn't become the 29-point-per-game scorer that he became with the Knicks, we already had the sample size of them working together that year they made it to the Western Conference Finals. And then even outside of that, like Kyrie's a ball-dominant dude that averaged 25 next to Luka. So unless you really just value Kyrie's off-ball movement, and respect to Kyrie's off-ball movement, but even his off-ball movement isn't like Steph Curry out there.
Overrated, yeah.
Yeah. I think Jalen Brunson would have been fine. And again, even if he doesn't peak at 29 points a game next to Luka, a 27, 26-point-per-game dude next to Luka that's younger than Kyrie, that is going to give you more roster flexibility because he keeps on taking pay cuts and is just willing to take pay cuts. I would rather have that compared to Kyrie and a playoff riser.
I would just tell Sean, Jalen Brunson turned into a 29-point-per-game scorer playing behind Julius Randle. I don't know why he couldn't do it playing behind Luka.
Plus, they've done it before, respectfully. Like, and I know B-Souls kind of said that, but the other portion of that is it gives the possibility for Luka to not have to do it, so he can be the one to get the buckets while Luka takes his time and rest or whatever. And then again, I'm still thinking too far forward, but you bring in a Mikal Bridges, another guy who can do it offensively and then can take up the stuff defensively. That's just the team that you don't want to see. I think, and it's something that is unique in NBA times. We are really taking for granted Jalen Brunson. I'm bigging him up a lot is because he's one of the last guys, him and his collective, that stayed in college, then came into the pros and became very serviceable, good, and 2 of them all-star caliber players. Those are one of the guys that you keep based off of that alone, right? There's not. I understand that there are friendships in the NBA when people come in. There's not too many like that. So if you have the ability to get a guy, these are the intangible things that make you even overpay for a guy, just because I have the possibility to get that guy. I want to if I know Giannis's contract is coming up 2 years before Giannis comes up, I want to get Thanasis, and I want to overpay Thanasis. Why? Because if he enters free agency and I have an argument to, send back to Giannis, Thanasis is over here loving my city or whatever the case may be, that puts me in a better place to land a Giannis because of the relationship. Sometimes it's more about it's more than the numbers. It's more than the X's and O's.
Yeah, and I was about to say, well, I was gonna add, like last year, the Mavs team last year was compared a lot to the 2018 Rockets, and like what you said, I do think the main factor that was different was the difference between Chris Paul and Kyrie, right? Like Kyrie again, great number two. Obviously, he proved it. If you want to say good, that's fine. But I do think a big part as to why the Mavs weren't as good as what they could have been last season is because of the fact that when Luka was off the floor and Kyrie was asked to truly run the offense, he just wasn't there enough as a playmaker that he needed to be at. But when you have Jalen Brunson out there, who was able to give you 6 to 7 assists a game, who has proven by his own to give you around 8 assists by himself this season, I do think that's a layer to that offense that would have been much better, even if we're going to keep running the heliocentric style offense. So.
True.
With that being said, let's go ahead and move on. Well, not directly move on, but I do want to extend this conversation to owners that need to apologize to NBA players in the past. So clearly we just saw Mark Cuban. I apologize, Jalen Brunson, we fucked up. Who are some owners in the past that probably, should go out there and apologize?
Oh, I can. Easy. This is an easy answer. Jeannie Buss. She's not only apologized to Lonzo Ball, but LeVar Ball. Because when LeVar Ball was sitting there saying, these motherfuckers don't know what they're doing in this front office, we all said, oh, what does LeVar know? What? A lot of people's out there, what does LeVar know? LeVar's just talking. He's just yapping. No, he was right. They don't know what they're doing. They have shown us repeatedly they don't know what they're doing. And as I sit here with a Russell Westbrook Laker jersey on and think about this offseason where we signed absolutely nobody, I think back to 2019 when LeVar Ball said they got this bullshit coach and Luke Walton here, and they have this bullshit front office full of people that don't know what they're doing. Jeannie Buss, you owe that man an apology. He was absolutely right. Y'all don't know what y'all doing.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan never took ownership seriously. So he owes an apology to literally the entire Washington Wizards and Bobcats and Hornets players.
The city of Charlotte.
It was just city of Charlotte. It was just never. It was never something that he took seriously. To be quite honest with you, and he took it. He used it as a time to gamble and drink and say, "Hey, come to my sports games," and go to practice at 59 and try to embarrass players that ultimately were bad because he was bad at picking people who can make competent decisions. Okay, that's a flex. That's a flex.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, and it hasn't fully transpired yet, but I'm gonna call it now. The owner of the Suns, boy, I think we're gonna walk away from this Kevin Durant era. Oh my God, they really did nothing with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, bro. Like, geez, wasted prime years of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant playing like way out of his league in terms of like what his age is supposed to be. Yeah, doing nothing with it. Absolutely nothing.
He owe us an apology. Damn that. He owe everybody an apology, not just the Suns, not just the players.
Wasting Devin Booker. That's whew. Another one I want to apologize to. I need an apology from Hawks ownership and management. Too many brand / jersey / identity changes for a team who never really established a brand / identity or a jersey that people liked. Some of the color combinations were nasty. I don't know if y'all remember that red with the triangles in it, and they paired that with the black pants. I can pull it up and put it on. Yeah, it's just too much for a team that doesn't have a lot of success, and then to put a barbershop in your arena, win games. How about that? I don't care what my favorite player's haircut is like. Win some games.
Ooh, I got another one. Sam Hinkie, man. God. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. If we walk out of this process with 0 rings, boy, all of them years losing on purpose, getting historically bad teams, was for nothing. I'm sorry. It was for nothing.
Nah. Asterisk.
Nah.
He got fired before he was actually able to fulfill his process. Actually, which draft was it? Was it the Jason Tatum? I think it was the Jason Tatum draft where that was like the first draft where Sam Hinkie wasn't a part of it. Like, didn't he get fired before that year or going into that something, whichever it was? There was a disconnect with the actual start of the process and then whoever picked it up after him and tried to carry the torch going on. So there was a drastic difference in philosophies going forward. I don't know if we could just blame Sam Hinkie.
Either way, someone got to take the blame for that failure. Now let me check.
I'm blaming Joel. I ain't gonna lie. I'm blaming Joel. I would say this. Hey, another one. Honorable mention. Whoever owns the Bulls, because I don't know. That nigga needs to apologize to everybody in Chicago. Apologize. Y'all had this offseason where it was like, okay, we stink. Let's go ahead and blow it up. Let's go ahead and just rebuild. We stink. We got unlucky. It was a light 2 years ago. The light is gone. That motherfucker came out and doubled down and said, nah, we got this. We can still win. And to show you we can win, let's trade Alex Caruso, not for picks, not for a future. Let's get Josh Giggity. Come on, man. No way. Apologize to that city of Chicago. That's crazy.
Yeah. Nah.
What's his name? Last one I'm gonna add. James Dolan. It's amazing how easily competent of a team New York could have. Like I now, and we might be gassing it way too soon. Maybe I'm too super high on New York, but it seems like it actually is pretty easy to build a team in New York. Didn't really even know that. It actually does seem like people want to play in New York. He has been the reason that it's been held back for so long. And we should have known when like Melo and Amari and them wanted to come to New York and play. We kind of looked past that. But basically, from the late 90s, that's honestly, New York has been bad for a long time and people don't talk about it. From like the 90s up until Melo, they were pretty bad because there was an owner who just refused to make competent decisions. And even in the late 90s, they kind of got lucky with that lockout shit. So
yeah, when you make New York a bad free agency destination, not because of the city, but because of the owner, I don't want to play for this guy. That's pretty bad.
Oh shit!
Bad. Not pretty bad.
What's
Very
his name?
bad.
Donald Sterling.
Definitely owes his players an apology. Definitely.
He owes everybody an apology. Oh my god.
OV an apology too.
All of them, bro.
Jesus fuck, man.
Honorable mention, the casting director of Clips, since we're bringing up Donald Sterling. That nigga owes me an apology because them castings was horrible. Horrible. Souls, I've seen you and Sage's video about it. You were right. Never seen a show with too fast pacing. That's insane. Shit was just happening. Like stuff was just going on. No hoop being played. Like what are we talking about?
And I swear it wasn't the editing. They ran through a whole season of the Clippers season in one episode. One episode, bro. So much was happening, man. God, didn't know there was so much hatred in that locker room, but I can't really trust that though. I can't really trust that show.
I think it was hatred in that locker room.
Oh yeah, but everything just looked too fake in that show, man. I don't know what was real, what wasn't, man.
Everything can look fake when the casting is that bad. Matt Barnes is the tallest player on the team. Like,
yeah, no, that was crazy, bro. Chris Paul did not look like Chris Paul at all.
Taylor Griffin, that wasn't Blake, that was his brother. That was Taylor Griffin. That was probably the worst one outside of Klay Thompson.
Blake Griffin with zero muscle is crazy, chat. Oh my god, bro.
Just all neck and Adam's apple.
I know this is totally to the side. Shouts out to Aaron Gordon, man. That's why he changed his jersey number to his brother Drew Gordon's number. Recently passed away. Shouts out to Aaron Gordon for that.
Shout out to Aaron Gordon, man. Round of applause.